Welcome back, students. I hope you have done your revision and you are, thorough with what exactly homogeneous and heterogeneous mixture is. So today's topic is going to be solutions, solute, solvent, and concentration. Under the chapter is matter around us pure. Okay. So we are trying to figure out that exactly which matter is pure and which is not. So coming to the solutions. So let's quickly dive into the session. I hope everybody is doing fine and they are learning every single day. Okay, right. So what exactly a solution is? So first of all, before getting to know solutions, let me just again help you recap that mixtures are of two types: homogeneous and heterogeneous, right? Homogeneous and heterogeneous. Okay. Now, homogeneous, under this comes the solutions. Okay. Solutions are homogeneous because the composition stays uniform throughout the solution. Okay. You will not be able to see different particles in the solution. But heterogeneous can be of two types. Heterogeneous mixtures are of two types. The first is suspension. Okay, suspensions and colloids. I told you milk is a colloid, right, in earlier session. So we'll see that how and why the milk is colloid. Okay. Now, so solution is basically a homogeneous mixture of two or more substances. So we know mixture is anything having more than one type of particle to it, right? So maybe two substances, 3, 10, 14, any number of substances could be there in a mixture. Now, components are uniformly mixed. This I have told you already. So suppose again, let's take our, favorite, you can say experiment, salt plus water. So if we are taking water and we are adding salt to it, let's say salt, let's make of this color. Okay, salt to it. So it will be uniformly mixed and you won't be able to see because the particles are too small or too tiny to be seen with the naked eyes, even less than 1 nanometer. So you can imagine very, 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 very teeny tiny. Okay. So now the examples of a solution would be salt water like we discussed, sugar in tea, and air. Okay, air is also a solution of gases. You are unable to see them and it's uniformly mixed. Okay. Now, just a second. Right. Okay, let me just... Okay. Now, what exactly solution is made up of? So we need to know this. So solution is actually made up of two things combining together: solute plus solvent. Now, one thing which we need to know is the solute is the substance that gets dissolved. Okay. So, yeah. Okay. This is just, let me change the color. Yeah. Okay. So the substance that gets dissolved into something else. Okay. So this is getting dissolved. Getting dissolved. Okay. And solvent is the one that does the dissolving. Okay. Does the dissolving. Right. Now, what exactly a solvent would be? So, for example, again, let's take salt and water. That is, not leaving. We are not leaving it behind. It stays with us. The example. Okay. So again, we are taking salt and water. So here we are dissolving salt, right? Salt is getting dissolved, right? So salt is going to be our solute here. The salt is going to be our solute. Okay, in this example. Now, what will be the solvent in which the salt is being dissolved or the solute is being dissolved? So here it would be water, or you can write water. Okay. One more thing, how you can, actually, how can you remember or recall that what is solute or what is solvent? So one thing from which you can distinguish is basically solute will be present in very small amount or smaller amount compared to solvent. Solvent will be in larger amount. So for example, you took maybe 100 ml water. Okay. And maybe you added 5 grams of salt to it. So this is in less amount, right? Salt. So this is going to be our solute. Okay. And the, you can say component, which is more in amount, that is going to be our solvent. Now, one tricky question could be, for example, we added alcohol and water together. Okay, we can do that. We made a solution. Now here, the alcohol is 80% and the water is 20%. Now you have to, think about, and maybe you can comment or let me know that exactly, which is going to be the solvent and solute. Okay, so that would be one thing which you have to think about. Now, let's move ahead. So I'm sure this is, clear to you. Now, solute can be think as a ingredient. If you are making anything, it can be as an ingredient. And solvent would be the base or the liquid which you are using for that ingredient. Okay. Right. So moving ahead, what gets dissolved? So coming to, the depths of the solute, that what exactly it is. 1 second, let me annotate. Yeah. Okay, so solute is the specific substance that disappears. I told you, right? It is so tiny that it is going to get dissolved into the water and we won't be able to see it. Forms a homogeneous mixture. Okay, it is smaller in quantity and also it defines the property, certain properties. Okay, what sort of properties? So the solute largely influences the taste, color, the smell and other characteristics of the final solution. For example, sugar makes tea sweet, right? If you take salt water, so water will become salty because the solute is changing the taste or the color or the smell, right? Okay, common solutes which could be sugar. So sugar in a tea is a solute. Oxygen in air is a solute. Nitrogen in air is a solute, and carbon dioxide in soda is a solute. Okay. Right. Okay. Now, what exactly a solvent is? So solvent is the dissolving medium in which, like if you are taking a beaker and you are adding solute to something, right? And then you are stirring and mixing it. So the solvent is the substance that is the dissolver, which helps you dissolve something in itself, right? It is in larger quantity and it determines the state of your solution or whatever, mixture which you have made. So whether the thing, is going to be solid, whether it is going to be liquid or gas, the whole mixture, that is determined by the solvent. Because again, you remember, right? The solvent is in bigger amount or more in quantity, right? Or larger in amount. Okay, so that's why that is going to determine the, you can see the state of the whole mixture or final solution. And is typically as the same as the solvent, like I told you, water, liquid, solvent. If you are taking water, right? So if you are adding salt or maybe sugar to it, so our whole mixture or whole solution is going to be liquid. Okay, liquid form of solution. So key solvents would be water. Sometimes we add a lot of things to water, alcohol and air. Water is called as universal solvent. Okay, because it can add a lot of, you can dissolve a lot of things to water. That's why. Okay. Now, understanding concentration, what exactly concentration is. So concentration is something which tells you that how strong something is or how strong the solution is. So for example, let me give you this example. Okay. Let's take water in 2 beakers. Okay. And we are adding salt to it. So water is there. Okay. And we have added salt. We have uniformly mixed it. It is a homogeneous mixture also, right? In case A and case B. So in case A, what we are doing, we have added 5 grams of salt and 100 ml water. And here we are adding 10 grams of salt and 100 ml water, right? So now what happens is, here the concentration be more in case B? Because the concentrated solution contains a large amount of solute into it, and it is relative in nature. For example, I take another, case 3, and I have added like, let's say, 25 grams, let's say, or maybe not exactly grams. Let's milligram. Okay, let's take milligram everywhere. That would be better. Okay, 25 milligrams of salt. Okay, just correct it, right? And 100 ml of water. Here. Now, so what happens here in case 3 or case C basically? So now in relative case, if we'll see, so B is more concentrated than A. Okay. And solution C is more concentrated than B. Okay, so this you have to know that in relative sense, we always talk about concentration. And if the amount is very, very low, again, it is in relative concentration. So if let's say I am saying that C is more concentrated than B. So B is more diluted solution because it has a small amount of solute compared to the case C. Okay, I hope you are getting it. If you are not, then again, you are like, feel free to ask the doubts. Okay, so this is it. So you can think it as a, let's take the examples. So think it as a light or weak tea. Here you can see the color of the tea, right? It is very faded, very fainted, very light, because the amount of, maybe the tea leaves or sugar, everything is very less here. But here you have added a lot of, tea leaves and everything. So it has got color, the second one, right? So this is the example of concentrated and diluted solution. So adding 1 spoon of sugar to tea makes it dilute, and adding 5 spoons of sugar makes it concentrated. But if I add 10 spoons of sugar to the same, tea, then, and if I compare these two specifically, so this will become diluted and this will become concentrated. So we will always talk in a relative manner, okay? Right? Okay. Now, so solutions around us. So what sort of solutions we are seeing daily is basically a tea, right? In a tea, you are adding sugar, you are adding tea leaves to it, right? A lot of things, and then you are mixing in. So it is a solution. It makes a homogeneous composition if you're removing the leftover tea leaves. Okay. Then coming to aerated drinks. So carbon dioxide that is mixed in your, drinks, that is also that too under pressure, which we have discussed again in, previous sessions and classes. So that is again a mixture or a solution, you can say. Perfumes are also example of solutions, and air is also example, like it has a lot of, nitrogen, oxygen, argon to it. Okay, so just ignore this. Okay, right. Moving ahead. So a quick quiz question would be, let's quickly, try solving this. So question 1 would be for you. In lemonade, which is the solute? Now you have to try to answer this maybe in a comment section, or maybe, you can try solving it with pen and paper. Okay. So in lemonade, which is the solute? Is it a lemon juice, sugar, or water? Now this could be tricky. If you're not getting it, come back to me. I'll help you, solving this. The second question is, a solution with more solute is called as dilute or concentrated. I hope you know this one. We just discussed it, right? And water is called as a universal solvent. Why? Because it dissolves most substances. It is found almost everywhere, or because water tastes good because of that reason. So this, I hope now you are able to answer all these questions. Okay. So thank you so much, and you can contact me through my Urban Pro profile again and ask me any doubts, or maybe for regular classes also, you can contact me here. Okay, see you soon. Bye-bye.